Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? Wee Paddy from across the Shuck, and this is the video I've been looking forward to showing you because I get excited about them still so much, and it's my GEC collection. I don't have a huge collection anymore. I never had a huge collection. I had about 25 was my maximum, but I've cut it down now. I've got about, it sits between about 15 and 16. I sell to buy, and again, that's the way I do with most of my collection now. I don't invest much more money now than I actually have to. So, what have we got? I have, let's just get started. Here's the one. This is my club knife. I'm in the slip joint club over in here in the UK, and this was our club knife last year. And it's a number 88 pattern. It was a pattern premiere. You have this beautiful, it's not a crocodile. What is it? The other one. Alligator. Is that it? Yeah, alligator. Swamp alligator or something? Yeah, it was to do with the swamp. But it's an unusual blade pattern. And, although I love it because it's the club knife, you can see that there. It's the slip joint club collection knife. This is, it's a long clip point, which I'm not over keen on. But I thought this knife was so different, I had to get this one. And then the other blade on it is a beautiful little lamb's foot. Not a little lamb's foot, it's a full-size lamb's foot. This is a good size of a knife. Really, I just love the lamb's foot, I have to say. Love it. But I'm struggling with this other blade. And I've had it for, I don't know, must be close on a year now. And look at the centering on them two blades. It's just beautiful. So that's my first one. It's probably the one I have the most problem with. As in, am I going to hang on to it? Am I going to trade it? I would only trade it back into the slip joint group. That's the way we tend to do things. And we just keep it at the price. You would only put it back in for, at the most you paid for it, but if there's any sort of wear on it, you drop the price. That's the way we keep our group going, which I really do love. So that's the first one. The next one is one of my recent buys, and this is the Bunny knife. And this was a Blade Forums knife. Very rarely get a chance to buy a Blade Forums knife. There you are, you can see that there. And this is in the 15 pattern, and it's a two-bladed. I didn't have any two-bladed 15 pattern, so I decided I'll go ahead. Plus the fact it's ebony, and I love ebony wood, and that's why I picked this one. I love the clip point. I don't like this right in here. I think it's terrible. It cheapens the look of the knife, to be honest, for me. But again, it's another one that I'm not sure whether I'm actually going to hang on to or whether I'll trade it again for something else. I don't know. But it was a good chance to get it, and I got it. I might even just take that out. Honestly, them two knives, I've gone back and forward so many times. But it's a beautifully made number 15 boys knife pattern. I really do love it. And again, the centering, look at that. How they do it, these are more handmade than most knives out there. And they keep that standard up, which is fantastic. The next one is another 15 pattern, and this one's in snake wood. It's not the best snake wood in the world. You'll not see it inside here very much. I'm trying to get it to the window, but I can't get that light. Anyway, it's the 15 pattern. It's an easy open, and this had the bottle opener and the screwdriver on it as well. But it was deleted by not whoever, the fellow that sold me knife deleted the bottle opener because he didn't use it. There's a little crack in the top of this one, which was done while it was being changed. But I mean, I got this. This was just a silly price he sold it to me for. But he asked me if I was ever getting rid of it to give it back to him again. I won't. I love an easy open knife. I love the sheep's foot blade. It is beautiful, lovely thin blade for any work. I use this constantly. I've no worries about this crack going anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere at all. It is absolutely beautiful. And again, it's that 15. It's just about the forefinger. That's the smallest I like to go in most knives, but this is just a little stunner. And I love the walk and talk. It's just fantastic on all my GECs. The next one is it's my worker. This was my original. This is the OG GEC that I got, and I bought it, I don't know, 4 years ago or something. It cost me about $100. I got it from a friend of a friend who was a subscriber. I haven't seen for a while, but he sold it to me at a really reasonable price. But I've just used it. This has been black. I've cleaned it off. It's starting to come back again now, the patina on it. But I've had this honestly, has been worked to death. I love it. Now, the other thing that I'll show you in this is it's slightly off center. Now, it's not touching the side at all, and it has never moved from the day I got it. He told that to me as well before he sold it to me, but I just love this worm grove. This is a number 78 American Jack, a really popular knife and very hard to find now. Not hard to find, hard to buy when you get them. They're so dear. Again, my newest work knife, I got the bullnose 71 back into my collection again, and it has been getting used constantly. I love the bullnose. I traded mine last year, or maybe it was a year before, but I traded it for something I want, and I'm so glad to have this back in a collection. It was that wee girl, Erica, over at Not Your Average EDC. She started showing, her bullnose and using it again, and I really did, honestly. I missed it so much because it's such a knife that I'll do anything with it. I'll pry, poke. It's not thick behind the edge, so it's a great slicer still, but an absolutely marvellous fat handle on it. Really, if I put it against another single-bladed GEC, there you are, you'll see the difference in the handle. It just makes a fantastic work knife, and I am so glad to have it back again. And then one of my favourite work knives is this fantastic big, this is the number 43 in it. Yep, number 43, you can see it there. There we go, there's the numbers. The number 43, what a fantastic blade. You can call that a clip or you can call it a drop point. I tend to think of it as more of a clip point. But it is just a beautiful big blade and gets plenty of use. Great steak knife. These two, that one and this one, I'll often use with steak or in the kitchen just cutting because, again, they're not thick. They're thin behind the edge. This is just a beautiful slicer. Really, really lovely slicer. And again, this is a keeper. This will, listen to that. I love that. That there. So now we're going to come to what I shall call my, I'm going to move this over here a wee bit. These little leather thongs that I put on to help me pull them out of my pocket. These are the knives that I'm going to start with some of the ones that I think are really attractive and just draw me to them as a knife. This is the number 56. Look at that. Come on. How beautiful is that? And on this side you have it's like the little jester on there. Can you see it? Beautiful. And let me just check the number. Yeah, 56. This is a number 56, which again is a dogleg pattern that's really wanted by people. The fat spear on this just really, you know what I think of fat spear points, but this is a beautiful, comfortable knife in hand, and just it brings me joy bringing a knife like this out. And I'll often carry this when I'm going to be amongst sheeple, or I know I'm going to be amongst sheeple, because that pattern, it's like, Blackpool rock. It's just gorgeous colours in it. And it's an unusual, it's not an often seen GEC, but I just really do. And I love taking this out. And I put it in a nice blue slip, so it's everything about it is non-threatening. No, here's another one. And I said the 15 is about the smallest I like to go, and that is except for these. This is the number 25 pattern. I adore this. This again from the unexcelled, which is the higher one. You get the nice ring bolsters, beautiful bolster on them, and it's a small Barlow. What a beautiful little Barlow knife with that sheepsfoot blade, which I really do love. I love small sheepfoot blades because they're the ones I'm going to use when I'm doing delicate work. But this one is beautifully done along there. Lovely, lovely swedge. Look at that swedge in the front of that knife. What a stunning knife. And there we go. This is one of my oldest GECs from 2015. Just beautiful. And look, that's so small. I get 3 fingers on this, and my other finger just sits right behind it, and it's one of the most secure little knives I have. You can get some work done with this because it's quite a thick blade stock for a small knife. So a gorgeous piece. And this is not this one ain't going anywhere. They're so hard to get, and they're so expensive now on the secondary market, as are an awful lot of GECs. This is another one of my little favourite. They're all my favourites. Like, it's hard not to say it, but you know they are. They're all my favourites, except for them first two that I'm still not sure of. This is a number 40, no 73. Look at this for a drop point. And like with all my collections, I try to have all the blade shapes I can get. I don't need doubles and trebles of any sort of knife. I just like one of each kind of a knife, and that's the way my collection has always been. I'm not a um, I don't collect multiples of one type of knife because I don't have enough room for it. If I done that, one, it would cost me a fortune. But this is a non-excel version with a lovely ring bolsters. Look at that swedge with a nail nick in it. I just think that is gorgeous. Really do. A lovely way to put the nail nick in on a knife. Stunning, really thin behind the edge. Look, you can see it. Beautiful. Now, the fit and finish of every single one of these. I don't have gaps. I just don't have any gaps at all. And again, the centering and all these, I mean, it gets redundant, but look at that. Yeah, it's not direct. Well, you know, it's not far up off the middle. If you look at it that way, you can't tell that, you know, it's off a bit. That's about as much as most GECs ever get. But look at the bone. It's Appaloosa bone, that's another snakewood. It's a nicer snakewood on this. I don't know whether you were able to pick that up. Oh, you can. You can see the snakewood in the bone there. Oh, there, the back's even better. So it's beautiful. It really does look like snake skin. Lovely knife. And this was an Appaloosa bone, which is just gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's lickable, as I like to say. I like to say a lot of rubbish. What else have I got now? We're getting close to some of my top end knives. And this one, you've seen this plenty of time. This is this is a Stockyard Whittler. And this has I don't have many, as you can see. I don't have many two-bladed or three-bladed knives. But this one is just beautiful. Look at that clip point. I just adore this thing. Now, I carry and use most of these. Some of these coming up are maybe not carried and used as much as others, but it's more because they're so expensive now to replace. Then you have that lovely sheep's foot again. And finally, the best. This is the best. Look, there's an edge on there. The best punch reamer, whatever you want to call it. This is just unbelievable. Really, really beautiful. Sorry, I'm not doing a good job of showing you that. Let me just get these other two closed and I'll show you, because this is the main part of this knife. There you are. You can see it. It's rounded down here at the back round, and this will go through. Like if you have an inch piece of wood, you can drill through it with no problem with this, and then come back at the other end and widen your hole to up to here if you wanted to. Do you know what I mean? It is so good. The only thing I would say, if you're ever going to use it in the wood, just don't force it. Let it do the work. And it does really. I've put it through at least an inch worth of wood to get a hole through. Just a stunning, stunning knife. The bone is elderberry. It's just, it's like a strawberry. It really is like the surface of a strawberry. I adore it. And again, you get the ring bolsters because you got the unexcelled. And now the next ones are well, let's just follow. This is this is my GEC number 15. This is a TC Barlow, the most wanted knife probably from anybody who wants to collect GEC knives. This is one of the most wanted. I have the spear point because I just love a spear point. I would love to get a clip point. That would be the one thing I would like in this. But look at this. Now, this came in a different colour bone. I re-dyed it myself with the red, which I like better. But look at that beautiful spear point with that. Again, that swedge just does it for me. It looks so clean and just ready for work. And I do use it. This has been, you'd hardly believe it, but I mean, this has been really caked in patina. And I cleaned it off there last year, and I haven't really used it again. In fact, I haven't used it again since I cleaned it off. Now, that drops the knife in value, but I don't care. It's not something I'm going to give away. I learned my lesson when I first came around. I managed to get one and let it go, and it broke my heart. But listen to that walk and talk. They are a super knife, that number 15. It's the pattern. I love this pattern. Now, I've got different ones. I haven't got anything that's the same. but a clip point is the one that I need if I can ever get a clip point. In fact, I would love to go back to getting a clip point in the 15 pattern even. I sold one to one of my subs, I think, a few years ago. But anyhow, here's another one now. This is not a GEC. This one is, and it's again, it's a different pattern. It's a jackknife. It's a cigar pattern. The 35 pattern in GEC. This is beautiful. This is the Mer and Grosh. And they actually call this is the Mer and Grosh. What they do is they go back and make old patterns. And this was an old pattern. I think it was back in the 30s. And it was called a trapper. It actually says it on the blade, which is really hard to do. It's a Mer and Grosh. They called it the trapper, and razor steel, and it was $1.50 at the time they made it. And it's just a stunning. The bone, the jigging on that is just gorgeous. Really is just beautiful. Good size pen knife, and then that lovely spear point, which you're starting to find out I do like quite a lot. Fit and finish, GEC standard, straight up the middle. Is there any gaps? Not a hint of a gap. And this is a beautiful knife. So it's a GEC made, which is why it's in my GEC collection. But it's nice to have these other ones that are sort of out of text. So here is another one. Another beautiful knife. This is this is made by GEC, but this is the Northwoods Collection. Now, I hear people saying, oh, that's a Northwoods and it hasn't got that fancy blade. This is before Derek Bone owned Northwoods. This is Dave Shirley, who owned Northwoods first and sold it to Derek Bone. What a lovely clip. But you can see there isn't a big swedge on it that you would get now. In most GECs, you'll have a swedge. This is an older knife. Obviously, it's pre 1986. And there, oh no, well, this was made by Queen, I think. Yeah, I think this was made by Queen. Somebody can correct me. It's a gunstock pattern. Not a particularly nice shape of a gunstock, but it is a gunstock pattern. It's beautifully made. It really is. And although I think I have to check on that now. My head's gone. Was that made by Queen or GEC? I am absolutely not sure. I think it's Gladstone. No, I think it must be Queen. I'll double check that. But it's a Northwoods collection, and it goes with the next one I'm going to show you, which is, this is down to my sort of three. This one and these other three here are some of my favourite knives. This one is a Northfield collection. What a beautiful, this is a Yankee Barlow. If you can see that on there, Yankee Barlow. It's a big top hat, the American top hat, Yankee Barlow. A beautiful long sheepsfoot blade. Beautiful, just a little bit bigger than the 15 pattern. This is the number 77 pattern. I love this knife. I love the bone. It's the pocket worn look on it. It's supposed to have been saw cut, but it is so fine on this that I think they missed it. But again, it's a beautiful knife. It's nice bone. It's a beautiful handle. Again, just a bit bigger than the 15, but a gorgeous knife. Really, really beautiful. There's that one there, and then we have the other Northfield, and that's why it's been sitting in here. I've got to double check that again now because it's in my head. That must have been Queen that made that. This is made by GEC, and this is Northwoods, and this is when Derek Bone had it. So you had the two owners of Northwoods knives. I love Derek's pattern. This is, I think it's a Lincoln Jack or something like that. I should have checked the names. Any good reviewer would have, wouldn't they? I haven't a clue. Because it's one that's not going to go. This is staying. I love this. It's the same. It's made on that 15 pattern. You can see that exactly the same. It's the 15 pattern, but made for Derek Bone when he was alive, God rest his soul. Made for his Northwoods, and it is a stunner. This is saw cut, and you can see the saw cut. It is just the most lovely working knife. I have used this and I've cleaned the patina off it last year. It's starting to come back and go grey again. But just a beautiful, beautiful knife. So comfortable in a handle for a small knife. And I think that Wharncliffe makes it To me, it sort of makes it less offensive. Not sure whether that's the same with everybody, but beautiful walk and talk, centering up the middle, not the slightest hint of a gap anywhere in this knife. Beautiful knife. So that these if I can point them out, the TC Barlow, the North Field, the North Wood, and then finally back to GEC for my favourite GEC. And this is the beautiful, and this is one of the GECs that it's an 86 pattern, but this is made in stainless steel. This is made in 440C, and this is just recently out. This is only, when was this? 21. This came out, and they still use 440C, and it's like I've always said, I love 440C. As a stainless steel, it's easily sharpened. It just takes a lovely edge. But the bolts are in this. This is the 2 acorn Barlow. The 2 acorns at the bottom of the tree there. It's beautiful on both sides, which I really like. It is a just beautiful work knife. Beautiful knife. And any wonder my Jack Wolf knives have just done the review on their recent release. It's the same size as this. It's just, everything about it is near enough identical. Well, they're not identical, don't get me wrong, at all. One's a modern knife. But it's that same size, the same usage that I would use this. Now, I use this, but I don't put it near heat or things like that. Not because of stainless, it's just I want to keep this one really looking nice. There is an etch on there, and I really don't want to lose it. It's got practical knives, GEC in the shield. You can see that there. So yeah, I use it, but very, very light use. And I think we all must have knives like that, where it's just light use. But that's it. That's my GEC collection. It's not used huge compared to a lot of people's collections. But to me, it's my pride and joy. This really is my pride and joy. The amount of time and hours I have spent chasing up some of these knives, and the pleasure I'm getting them is just, you couldn't put a price on it. It's just been a joy, and my collection has changed so much. I've been very fortunate that I've got somewhere where I can't get all the knives, but over here in the UK, and I just want to give a big plug out to him because he just doesn't get enough credit for the work he does on GECs. Mike's Knives. .co.uk. Please go and visit Mike. You can put your name down to get any of the releases. You just send an email to Mike when you know what knife is being released. Send him an email. Can you put me on the list, please? And he just goes from the top of the list to the bottom of the list. Whoever gets on there first will get a knife. So, and he has all sorts of other knives for sale, not just GEC. He does it part-time. You'll get a telephone number if you go onto his Instagram page to contact him. Sometimes you just have to wait. He's a busy, busy man. And he doesn't sell enough. He doesn't get a huge amount of GECs in, but he does get them. Some are more than others, as you know. But as a collection piece, GECs are amazing. They're all properly usable working knives. They're not just made for to sit and look pretty. I don't use all of them hard because of the ones I find very hard to replace them. Like, how would you replace this Dave Shirley Northwoods? You just wouldn't. And to get one of these is like hen's teeth. Really is. They don't, once a year, maybe twice a year they used to do it. Now it's probably just once a year you get a Northwoods out. The Northfields are the same. Really hard to get, small numbers. And when GEC bring out special ones, they tend to be in small numbers. But that's it, it's a small business. And if you can't get one, there's no point in knocking GEC, because if this silly old Irishman across the shuck can find a way to get them, you just have to put the time in. And that's your lecture for today over Sunday. I hope you enjoyed seeing my collection. This is something I'm proud of this, because of the effort I put into getting it. I'm proud. I just love it. And yes, I'll change one or two here and there. This one and this one I'm not too sure about. The other ones, there'd have to be something special to get me to change out for. And there's plenty of them out there, and I'm sure they'll come along my way in the future. So there you go. Over and done. How long is that? 24. Well, that's not bad for a full collection. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful Sunday and the rest of your day. I'm on the podcast with RJ's Knives tonight at 6:30 UK time. Please come along and join us. There's usually 4, 5, 6 of us sometimes. We have a good old blarney about knives. It's just a chilled out zone. So take care. Bye-bye now.